All right, my friends, this week we are going to continue working on our molas. So last week I made this example using a fish, and I told you to only worry about putting those patterns on the inside. And we were talking about geometric patterns. Geometric means that we're using shapes. So I made these pointed shapes, these castle line shapes. I've got some wiggly up and down shapes, pointy lines here, dash lines here. Now we're going to do the background. And what I'm going to do is almost break it into chunks around the fish, and they're going to come all the way from the edge of the paper down to the fish. And then we're going to go ahead and add a pattern. So I'm going to grab a color here, and I'm just going to break it down into small pieces all the way around it. And then I'm going to add a design. So I'm going to come straight down to my fish, and I'm going to come down on the other side, and that's going to define my borders. Then next I'm going to come around here on the outside, and then I'm going to put in my geometric patterns on the inside. Now I could put in something similar to what I did inside, keeping it simple and going back and forth, or I can go on to my next one, and maybe I pick a different color. Now I'm going to put in again those two borders, and this time maybe I'll go the opposite way. So I'll put in the top line, come down here, and I could do almost like a spiral coming in. Okay, and we're going to go all the way around our fish just like this, breaking it into smaller chunks and putting that design into each of those chunks. Okay, so after we have finished our background, we should have our mola animal in the middle. Remember, this is some kind of an animal, bird, or fish that we would find in South America. So it could be, a fish, it could be a parrot, it could be a flamingo, it could be any kind of a tropical bird. It could be an animal, like a small mouse. It could be a cat, like a panther. It could be a frog. It could be a snake. And then you're going to put in that pattern on the inside, and then we're going to put in that pattern in small chunks, almost like a quilt, like we put a blanket or a quilt around it. And then on Wednesday, we will talk about how we are going to paint this. We're going to go over it all with watercolor, which is why we used crayon for everything here today, because we want that watercolor resist. So if you used marker or colored pencil, make sure you go over it and that you are using crayon, so that when we paint it on Wednesday to finish this up, that wax resist will work. If you use marker and we go over it with paint, all of your details will wash away. And if you're using colored pencil, it may not show up at all. So crayon only, and I will see you on Wednesday. Okay? Have a great